correct?
Yes.
At page 558, this is now the report on the Meru County Budget Appropriation Bill for number 2 of 2024. You will agree with me that the committee notes that the CCM Finance did not adhere to that resolution at number 16. That is page 558, Honorable Speaker. Correct?
Yes.
So, Madam Governor, if your evidence is that you are the foremost peacemaker, is that you have made all attempts at reconciliation, why would you allow your CEC to deny the office of the Deputy Governor a budget? If indeed you want to reconcile with the Deputy Governor and you want to reconcile with all other leaders.
The Deputy Governor doesn't have a vote, that is one. Number two, the amount allocated to the Governor is for both the Deputy Governor and the Governor.
You did not get my question. Why would you deny that office within your office still?
We've never denied that office budget.
I think, Honorable Speaker, I leave it to interpretation by the Honorable House. Honorable Speaker, I'll ask that video number 1B in our bundle of videos be played. And that is my last question. 1B of the County Assembly bundle of videos. Honorable Speaker, I'll seek your indulgence to get the interpreter, the translator. And this is my last question.
It's rendered in English. Proceed.
The video can be played.
Atongeria baba kubarathiurunkaga na mwiri jwa sniper bari biachara ene na isiasa ene bari gatigati mbeca ire bothite monka nande inkoroki ya milioni 86 turenda mwakuro sniper akiro nyombe ngoroba turenda mwakuro sniper
Council, your time is up.
turenda na sniper.
We conclude.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Who is speaking that video, Madam Governor?
Myself.
Proceed, Council.
Posture...
Senator Gloria, you're out of order, and I'm giving you a caution.
Madam Governor, would you say in that video, the posture you have taken in that video, which is quite different from the posture you've taken in the witness stand, would you say you are sensitive to the plight of that family?
No.
You are not sensitive. You agree? Thank you. Thank you for that answer. What evidence have you placed before this Honorable House to prove or to show that indeed 86 million Kenya shillings was raised?
There's a video clip.
No, evidence of money, not a video clip. Evidence of money.
Evidence of money in the video clip.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for listening to me.
Council for Governor, you may re-examine. You have 5 minutes to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I will be very brief with the Governor. Madam Governor, you have been taken through a series of questions about a number of issues. Is the murder of Sniper subject of this impeachment? Has there been any accusation in the notice of motion about your involvement to the murder?
No.
Secondly, you have been asked to, or rather you've been put to task about certain employees of the county government of Meru, one of them being Vincent Morethi. Again, in the impeachment motion, is the issue of the employment of Vincent Morethi featuring anywhere in the notice of motion? Is
Not
it an accusation you're facing?
Not.
Does it have any relevance in these proceedings?
It doesn't have any relevance.
Do you confirm that there is a murder trial that is taking place as we speak in respect to the unfortunate murder?
Very active one.
Thank you. You have been told about a facility within Kigocho Ward. Kindly clarify what is the status of that ward. Is it an operational maternity wing, or it's not an operational maternity wing?
It is not operational. We just finished construction the other day and yet to have the furniture so that it can start being operational.
Are you offering maternity facilities or rather maternity services at the facility?
We are not offering maternity facilities there.
Thank you. Again, back to the issue of the employees of the county. How many employees do you have at the Meru County government?
6,000, almost 6,000.
Almost 6,000.
Yes.
Are you in charge of all these employees?
No,
Specifically, the issue of Vincent Moretti. Is he an employee of Meru County?
he is not an employee of Meru County.
Did he attempt to be an employee of Meru County?
He attempted and then the letter was revoked just after 1 week.
By the time you're making those comments, was he an employee of Meru County government?
He was not an employee.
He was not an employee. Thank you. Finally, you've been asked about the copy of the original of the legal advisory that was offered to you by one Linda Kiome. Given a chance, would you bring it to Senate, and why haven't you brought it to Senate as we speak?
Due to time, because it was just asked a few hours ago.
The issue of production was done when you're still in the Senate? Is that your evidence? Was that request made while you're still
Yes.
in Senate?
Yes.
How far is Meru from where we are currently?
5 hours drive.
5 hours drive. It would then require reasonable amount of time for that to be availed in time, isn't
Yes.
it? Thank you very much. Finally, have you made specific responses to all the allegations that have been brought against you in this House?
Yes.
Have you supplied enough evidence to controvert every allegation against you?
Yes.
Have you brought witnesses before Senate who have talked on various issues?
Yes.
Do you stand by the evidences that they have adduced in court, in this
Yes.
Senate?
Yes.
Thank you. That is all for this witness, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I wish to close the governor's case at this juncture.
Thank you. Now we shall move to allow honorable senators to seek clarifications or ask questions. Now, as the honorable senators are doing that, counsel for the parties, prepare your closing statements. We are not going to take a break. Immediately, the honorable senators are done seeking clarifications, will straight away move to closing statements. Senator Mungatana Damson. We have half an hour.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, just...
We have exactly half an hour to allow clarifications from honorable senators, starting now. So we'll stop at 8:40.
Mr. Speaker, a quick clarification from the Honorable Governor. It is normal, Mr. Speaker, that senators and governors, because of the different roles, they have, by nature of their roles, they have differences. And so, the question I wanted to ask the governor to clarify, maybe he can explain to me and the Senate, why single out the senator for Meru, maybe just for playing his role as a senator? Is there a particular reason why he has singled him out, and yet he's just one of the senators? I mean, like all of us, we have issues with our governors. I want that clarification. Is it really true that he is causing a problem in the Meru County, or is it that he's just playing his role, his rightful role? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Governor.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Speaker and honorable senators. In this case, my senator, the Deputy Speaker of this House, I agree that he should do his oversight or any role that is given to him. But for this case, he has gone beyond in disrupting peace in Meru. One of the reasons is this. I wrote to Kaduri Morongi requesting that the devolution committee come to Meru and try to solve our issues. And in fact, I'm not lying, but telling the truth, he denied me that chance for devolution committee to come to Meru and mend the issues in Meru. Number two, my dear Honorable Senator for Meru, as an ambition of becoming a governor, which is not wrong. It is right for him to dream to that position. But I believe that you cannot light your candle by putting off other people's candle.
Senator Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, Linda Gaki Kiome deponds that there was forgery, and in the affidavit that was circulated yesterday. I've looked at the ruling of Justice Nzioka in civil suit number 551 of 2011, and Justice Nzioka ruled that for a signature to be deemed and certified as forged, a document examiner's report must be produced. End of quote. I want to ask the governor, in the case of allegations of forgery, who bears the burden of proof? Number two, a lot of HR issues have been brought up. Could the governor tell the Senate what measures she has undertaken since she took office? Can the governor tell us whether the 500 million expenditure or growth in expenditure in the 2022-2023 financial year that was cited by the Assembly was approved in the budget, and whether the Assembly approved it? And finally, Mr. Speaker, people are dancing on the grave of Sniper, and Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate. Can the governor tell us whether she's a suspect, whether she's been taken to court, whether she's part of those who have been taken to court on suspicion or allegations of killing Sniper? Because we cannot use that innocent boy to settle political scores, and Mr. Speaker, it's unfortunate that all parties are choosing to dance on the grave of Sniper. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Governor.
Thank you, Speaker. For the case of being a suspect, that case, I'm not a suspect. I did not even record a statement with the police. They came, did the investigations, and left. For the issue of 2023 approval, the approval for this year, the Assembly has not approved. We still have issues with the budget. The Waziri for Finance elaborated about the issue we have with the Assembly. And for the document that Leader Kiome said it was forgery, I think the forensic investigation should take course and give us an answer for, because I'm not a forensic investigator. Neither this House, I don't think this House has the powers to know if the document is forged or not, unless we take to the examiner.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. Honorable Senator, I think Her Excellency the Governor has said that the Committee of Revolution tried to intervene in the issue between her and the Assembly. That's very true. However, there was no one time, I want to put the record straight, there was no one time the Deputy Speaker of this House said that we cannot go to Meru or have a reconciliation with anybody. We did meet, a team went there, led by the Vice Chair of the Committee of Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations. They met Her Excellency the Governor. They also talked to the Speaker of the Assembly and the Assembly members. However,
Clarification, Senator, because your time is running.
Okay.
The mic will go off.
I just want to put the record. But we did not succeed because the assembly that time was going to a retreat. And as I said, that is actually why we could not be able to meet the two of them. However, we tried again, and the deputy governor, when we were going there was an issue in Meru. We could not go back again. I want to put that record straight, Your Excellency. Your
Senator Omtata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. A lot turns on this issue because some of us have been wondering why there has been no intervention in these matters of Meru by the Senate before we come to be treated to this theater of the absurd. And I would like confirmation from maybe the Secretariat whether it is true or not that the Meru governor sought the intervention of the committee.
You should seek clarification from the witness, not from the Secretariat.
But they say they wrote to this house. The witness has alleged it. The only person who can defend is the Secretariat.
No, the Secretariat is not on trial.
It's not, but now.
Senator Omtata, if we don't have any clarification that you're seeking from the governor.
Okay.
Please.
The governor, to whom did you address the letter that sought the intervention of this house in the Committee of Devolution in the affairs of Meru?
Thank you, Speaker. I wrote to the Committee of Devolution, which is led by the chairperson, Senator Abbas, and the senator who has just spoken before Mtata. I've agreed that indeed I tried to call them to Meru so that they can intervene.
Very well. Senator Oroba.
I have two clarifications. You have alleged that one of the interference that you have, the political interference, is by the Deputy Speaker, Senator Kathuri. Is this the only person? Because I would like to know if you're saying that this impeachment is being pushed by Senator Kathuri, or who are the other politicians behind it. I would also want to know if in those politicians there is any woman who is also trying to get impeached. My other clarification is the issue of the hospital. The CEC, do you have a CEC of health? And if you have a CEC of health, has the county, have the MCAs tried to impeach the CEC, because there is an actual clause in the Constitution for removal of a CEC, because the duty of care of the Ministry of Health actually falls under the CEC, yet they are jumping the CEC and going straight to the governor to impeach. I would like that clarification.
Thank you, Senator. Indeed, I have CEC held. The County Assembly of Meru has never tried to impeach the CEC held. That is the position. About the political interference in Meru, there are so many other people who believe that they should not be led by a woman, and that's why you see them gathering together and then trying to politicize the issue of a young family to bring me down. There's a tradition in Meru that they should not be led by a woman. I want to say categorically that the chair of the interference, or the person who interferes most, is the Deputy Speaker of this House. The rest, I don't see if it's good for me to mention them in absentia.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just need to seek some clarification from the Governor. Madam Governor, in your bundle of submissions, and I'd asked this question earlier on, there seems to be a lot of letters back and forth from your office to the Assembly seeking for particular members to be confirmed in particular boards. Can you tell us whether those letters, as alleged, are fake, are forgery, or those letters are indeed letters that you've sent to the Assembly and were either ignored by the Assembly or they were responded to? And finally, can you just tell us whether there is any form of cooperation, harmony between you and the Assembly of Meru? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Governor.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Speaker. Indeed, I've tried to engage the County Assembly of Meru by giving the names for the board, but unfortunately, they have been ignored throughout.
Senator Mofai.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, I want some clarification for the governor. I happen to be a neighbor to the governor, and of late I have witnessed influx of patients from Meru County to Tharaka County seeking medical attention. I would request to know from the governor, maybe there could be some breakdown in any of the facilities in Meru County, as alluded in that video we have just witnessed before us. Number two, Honorable Speaker, recently we have witnessed a national reconciliation which was being executed by His Excellency the President, because we had some national crisis that called for a broad-based engagement, and then when the country is at peace. One would want to know from the governor, why has it taken us close to 2 years without managing just 69 MCAs to sit down and work for Meru people?
Thank you, Senator, for reconciliation. As I said earlier, I've tried my best to reconcile the leaders. The Mwananchi has no problem at all, apart from the few elected leaders who have some issues. But I sat with Njori, as I said. I sat with the members of parliament. I sat with the CS, the former CS Agriculture. I sat with the assembly leadership. The only person that would not have a chance is the Deputy Speaker of this House. There is a lot of progress because when I was here the first time, I had only one MCA. Then for the second impeachment, I had 9 of them. Now I have 23 MCAs on my side. To me, that's a great progress. In mind of the political interferences that have been going on and the intimidation of county assembly members by the same leaders. I've tried my best, and I believe as I continue, more will come on board, because I'm doing a lot of civic education also to show the community that they should not disregard the leadership of a woman just because she's a woman or the tradition says so. About the hospital in Meru County, Senator Mofaya, most of our patients come from Tharaka to Meru General Hospital. They don't come from Meru to Tharaka, but Tharaka to Meru. Thank you.
Senator Majayo.
Asante Bwana Spika. Swali langu Gavana Kawera. Swali langu ni kuhusikana na yule mshauri wako kwa mambo ya kisheria. Yule mama alikuwa anaitwa Linda Gakikiome. Nataka kuuliza swali moja tu. Ulimwandika kazi wakati huo akiwa mshauri wako wa mambo ya sheria tariki 28 mwezi wa 3 mwaka wa 23, na mwaka mmoja kamili tarehe 26 mwezi wa 3 mwaka 24 ulimpatia barua ya kumwisha kazi ama kumwambia kwamba unataka awache kazi. Nataka kuuliza, je, baina ya wewe na yeye kulikuwa na kukosana ama kulikuwa na taabu fulani ama kulikuwa na kutoelewana fulani ndio sababu akasema kwamba yeye si alikuwa ameandika ile barua, bali ni kwamba wewe ulikuwa umefanya ile, pengine si wewe lakini ile barua iliyoandikwa si wewe uliyetia mkono wako kidole? Nataka kujua hiyo tu.
Asante sana Senator. Ningependa kusema ya kwamba nilipotoka hapa wakati wa impeachment ya kwanza, na Senate ikaniambia ya kwamba nitafute njia ya kufanya kazi pamoja na hata watu ambao ni wa vyama vingine. Nilimtafuta leader ambaye alikuwa naibu gavana wa Rentore wakati wa kutafuta uongozi. Nikamwambia tufanye kazi kwa pamoja, na ninaamini wakati nilimtafuta sikuwa na moyo mbaya. Hakuwa amenikampenia, hatukuwa tunajuana, lakini kwa sababu nilikuwa nataka kuleta nyumba yote pamoja na kuleta Wameru pamoja, nikamchukua huyo hata kama alikuwa mpinzani wangu. After 1 year alikuwa na kazi nyingi sana, maana ni wakili na alikuwa anafanya kazi zake, kwa hivyo kupatikana ilikuwa ngumu. Number 2, kulikuwa na wakati walikuwa wanafanya LSK, sijui kutafuta viti upande huo, akawa hapatikani kabisa. Nikamuita kwa ofisi yangu, tukaongea. Nikamwambia kwa sababu Meru kuna changamoto nyingi na kuna mambo mengi ambayo yanahitaji advisory. Nikamwambia kuja uwe karibu na mimi, akaniambia hapatikani. Ndio basi nikamwambia kama upatikani na kuna maneno mengi ambayo yanapaswa uhusishwe, naomba tu, na tukakubaliana ya kwamba yeye mwenyewe atatoka kwa hiari yake, lakini baadaye alikataa, na nikaona ni vyema nitafute mtu mwingine ama nimsimamishe kazi ndio Meru iweze kuendelea vizuri. Sina ubaya wowote na yeye.
Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I need clarification on Madam Governor. This is the third impeachment on your side. As what is difference from the other two than the other one? And again, if there is any difference from the other two, which has been already done, how? Why is it labeled? And if you have labeled it and there is delivery outside there, it means there is demand. What have you taken? The action you have took when you have saw there is delivery outside there. Thank you.
It's done less than a month ago. We had anticipated that we will have equipment so that we can have the maternity wing functional, but due to the budget constraint, we did not make it for the last 1 month. And I believe in the coming maybe 2-3 weeks, the maternity, the place, and other places, because we have more than 230 health facilities in Meru, that being one of them. Of course, I can agree that we have small improve everything to see that the mwananchi is happy.
Senator Wambua.
2 questions to the governor. Madam Governor, one of your key witnesses, Honorable Kawera, confessed on record and under oath that he and a group of other members of the County Assembly of Meru, they sat down and conspired to sabotage the economy of the county government of Meru. At what point did you get to know about this admission of crime? And as the governor of Meru, did you report this matter to police, the criminal of the impeachment process? Do you appreciate it as a legal constitutional process that they are simply personal initiative by people who have a grudge against their governor? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Governor.
Thank you, Senator. I have not reported any external forces to sabotage my administration and also the good work that I do. And I want also the honorable senators of this house to know that the real mwananchi kwa ground has no issues about the way I run Meru County. It's only a few class of leaders that have sworn that I will never have peace in that county, they must keep me busy with other things. Because the 2027 politics that is being played by the MCAs who are used by the political class or political leaders across Meru County. About the personal initiative,
Are you done, Governor?
yes.
Okay. Senator.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My question to the Governor is the efforts that she has put in place.
Thank you, Senator. I've made a lot of efforts from the last impeachment. One is by providing to the honorable MCAs of Meru County the ward fund or the ward project to every ward to the tune of 33 million per ward. Number two is involving them, assist in participating and knowing what is ailing the community for us to work together. The relationship about myself and other leaders, especially the governors, is good. I have no issues with the other leaders.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Governor, the relations you have with the county assembly. And I'm also wondering, they have called you all names. They have called you a mad person. And also, is there anything working in the county? Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Everything in the county is working apart from politics in Kenya. We have no issues with even absorbing the budget. We have been ranked with 79%. That means that Mwananchi is getting services. Mwananchi is very happy about the leadership. Mwananchi is the government of Meru. Apart from the few political leaders who want to show that filthy picture to the country that there is something wrong. Dissolving the county, honorable senators, this is the mandate, yes. I think the president also has the powers to do so. But I said earlier, we have young men and women as MCAs. They participated in the elections, won in different ones. They have just been in office for 2 years, remaining 3 years. They did their best to be leaders in respective ones. We will be doing justice to a person who has no issues with the whole county as an independent governor and won the position against 2 bigwigs and against the tradition of Meru that says that we should Meru. We have only one elected lady who comes from my place. Out of the 45 elected MCAs, we have only and no election to women. I think civic education to Meru for
Senator Veronica.
Governor, and you went back to Meru, being able to give development to people of Meru, or will you be back here, will be brought back here by the politics that are causing all this trouble in Meru? There are fights.
Thank you, Senator. With all these fights in Meru County, we've done major dams in Meru County. We've done a big rehabilitation center in Meru County. We have renovated, equipped more than 50 healthy facilities in Meru County. We've done more than 31 equipped boreholes in Kings, in 777 primary schools in Meru County. We've done a lot in terms of development, apart from the interferences.
Governor, that is not the question. You've been asked, assuming for purposes of just this argument, assuming you go back to Meru, the verdict is you go back to Meru. With whatever you've explained, the toxic political environment, will you still, Senator?
Thank you, Senator. I don't believe in coming back here again, Honorable Speaker. This is because there is a lot of progress from 1 MCA to 9 to 23, and I believe by then I left this Senate.
Senator
You gave notice of termination 26th of March 2024. How did she take it? And how is your relationship with against either of you? Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. She was happy about it. The working relationship since then isn't good.
Now, honorable senators, we have to spend government closing statements. And the first team to proceed to make their closing statement. So for County Assembly, you may proceed to make a closing statement for not more than 60 minutes.
Thank you very kindly, Mr. Speaker, sir. We'll have Mr. Murioki taking the first 20 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, our closing of the Senate. When the story of devolution in Kenya is told or is written, the members of the third count or favor exercise their oversight role, champion for accountability, transparency, and good governance by holding the person accused before you to account for every transgression. These members of the Third County Assembly have performed their oversight duty even when it was inconvenient to do so, even when it was not fashionable, despite several and serious challenges of the Assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, the MCAs, the elected representatives of Meru County, have told this honorable House time and time again that there is a problem. The governor, barely a few months after being sworn in, had opened war fronts against members of the county, in the county. And back then, during the first impeachment process, the governor was offered invaluable pieces of advice by the members. The governor vowed to become the foremost peacemaker in Meru. This vow was short-lived, and in 2023, the governor found herself again before this House, answering to other children, condoning junior officers to undermine and insult that deputy governor. She was at war with the members of parliament from Meru. Now, the governor has fallen out with her own secretary of the county. The governor has now become so bold in her violations of the law to the extent that she has personally, under her own Public Service Board, the Government Act, and in usurpation of the powers of the Assembly. Although the governor terms what she did as revocation, she has failed, when put to task, to point to any provision of the law that allows this thing called revocation. Mr. Speaker, sir, for purposes of putting the record straight in this House, once a member of the Public Service Board, or the County Public Service Board, is appointed in accordance with the County Governments Act, Section 58, the process of removing that member is and upon the grounds that are set out in Article 251 of the Constitution. And despite being advised by her own chairperson of the County Public Service Board, the governor proceeded to purport to revoke the appointment. Speaker, sir, honorable senators, surely it cannot be, or at least it cannot honestly be, that everybody else is a problem in Meru. It cannot be that it is the MCAs that are the problem, that it is the elected leaders that are the problem. It cannot be that it is her own deputy that is the problem, and now the County Public Service Board. Mr. Speaker, sir, during previous proceedings before this House, the governor blamed her misdeeds, famously infamous defense of "it wasn't me." However, When the county assembly made recommendations that the governor, that she blamed for things going wrong in the county, she refused to implement this recommendation. A fair-minded and through those officers, or that they have been violating the law and the constitution with her blessing and under her patronage. On one hand, the governor tells you in her defense that the violations of the law she is being accused of are occasioned by others. It is the county secretary, it is the chief of staff, and that those others should be called to answer those violations, that the county assembly has no powers to recommend that the governor should take action against these very officers that she blames for those violations. Surely, honorable senators, the governor cannot have it both ways. Article 185(3) of the Constitution of Kenya empowers the county assembly to removal from office of these officers that the governor herself has previously pointed at and blamed for violations of the law. When you retire to make your determination, remember, it is not the MCA's word against the governor's. No, it is the governor's own words and actions against the legal and constitutional requirements of good governance and integrity. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable senators, you have heard in videos number 1A of the County Assembly and 1B, the governor, in her own words, tell a dangerous lie that 86 million shillings was collected for the burial of the deceased sniper, a fact she very well knew to be false. And when put to task to prove those statements, she has failed. In cross-examination, the governor states that the only evidence that she has of 86 million is a video. Mr. Speaker, sir, you heard the young widow that stood here, Irene, tell you that as a result of the governor's lies, she has not only been ostracized by the community, but has also become a target. Let me remind you that the evidence of the young widow was unchallenged. Not a single question was put to her. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to the extent that her testimony could not be challenged. Honorable senators, words spoken by leaders mean something, or at least they ought to. Words spoken by leaders have real lie to the public, has led to such disastrous consequences, as you heard the witness testify here, that she can't even live in a matrimonial home. Honorable senators, that cannot be taken as anything else other than gross misconduct. Article 73 of the Constitution of Kenya does not leave any room for a public officer to make such misleading utterances to the public, endangering the lives of others and bringing dishonor and disrepute to the office that she occupies. And such misleading claims are also in gross violation of Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable senators, you heard the governor in cross-examination admit here that her conduct was insensitive to the family that the governor engaged in. She did so while paying full salary and benefits to one of the persons accused of murder of sniper. Christas Kiambi Manyara is a communications officer, 24, and it is not in doubt that he continued to receive his full salary and benefits, as evidenced by the payslips produced. Mr. Speaker, sir, in That pattern of lying, the governor says in a video that she does not know this person, who is a main suspect called Vincent Mureithi, employed as a deputy director of the governor's press, and that one of his referees, in the governor's own words, is the governor's sister, who is also her PA. You will find this person's letters of appointment in pages 445 to 452 of volume 2. This is a person that the governor denied having any knowledge of. Honorable senators, it cannot be a coincidence that this outspoken activist who criticized the governor was murdered just a few weeks after the second impeachment motion. It cannot be a coincidence that the people accused and charged are so close to the governor by her own admission. Honorable senators, moving on, as a result of the governor's breach of the law and court orders, the county of Meru has suffered financial losses, including being of the court produced in pages, is headed by the governor of the county assembly, and the Auditor General's report flags breaches of the law by the management by including other things, irregular payments, excessive wage bill, use of the manual payroll, volume 2. Honorable senators, the use of the manual payroll, according to the Auditor General, has led to a loss of 102.9 million. Honorable senators, the governor has refused or failed to appoint chairpersons of various boards in Meru County, and therefore these boards cannot be said to be legally constituted. Even when the governor purportedly forwarded names sought, as is required by the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act, sections 4 and 6. Or at least attempts have been made to treat this house to theatrics by the governor and her legal team, who, in attempts to deflect this, which are not a sufficient defense or explanation to any of the violations in the impeachment motion, revoked the appointment of the CEO of the Public Service Board based on advice from an unnamed legal advisor. The person who was serving as a legal advisor to the governor at the time in question came here, testified. Came here and testified that the internal memo dated 23rd February was a forgery. As the said memo bears no name, and there can be no clearer indication than this that it is indeed a forgery. In the opening remarks by the governor's council, this house was told that the assembly, in view of this forged memo, I therefore ask this honorable house, and I invite the senators to ask, who is lying? The same governor who accuses this assembly, the county assembly, of lying, is caught forging that internal memo. A ruling was made this morning that she should deliver the original memo. She has failed to do so. The governor, in the same pattern of lies, stands here and tells you that she has 23 MCAs supporting her. The impeachment motion, a cursory look will tell you it was signed by 49 MCAs. And simple math tells you that 49 plus 23 is 72. Yet, shockingly, the County Assembly of Meru has only 69 MCAs. So it cannot be true that the governor has 23 MCAs supporting her. The Supreme Court in the Sonko case was categorical that there is no obligation in impeachment proceedings to prove each and every charge, and this means that even one charge substantiated should suffice. In that case, honorable senators, guidance was offered that impeachment that criminal culpability should be proven to succeed. All that is required is that these allegations be substantiated. This word substantiate, what does it mean? It simply means to provide evidence. It does not necessarily mean to prove beyond reasonable doubt. It means that there must be substance in those allegations, that they have been proven to have substance. Before this House cannot be trivialized to statistical count, as an attempt was made in cross-examination of the mover. The gender card cannot be used to escape accountability. It is not about being female or male. It is about violations of the law and the Constitution. Honorable Senators, finally, in paragraph 7 of the Governor's response, that is volume 1 of the Governor's document, she seems to suggest that the county government of Meru should be dissolved. I call on this House to reflect on the words of the Bible in the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verses 8 to 9, and to paraphrase the words of Jesus Christ as he was teaching the people then: if your hand or your foot makes you sin, cut it off, and feet and hands. There is no cause for dissolution of Meru County. The problem is the governor, and Meru can be saved by removing the governor from office, as the Constitution empowers the County Assembly and this Honorable House to do. Thank you, Mr. That the charges against the governor have been substantiated, and I pray that in keeping with the motto of this Honorable House, for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, including the people of Meru, that you will do the right thing and send Governor Kawera Mwangaza home. Thank you. I invite my senior, Mr. Ndegwa, to conclude our closing.
Thank you very kindly. I must begin by conveying the apology on the part of the County Assembly for having to end the County Assembly. It is a call of necessity. Necessity has dictated that we must come before you as and when time and situations and circumstances arise. A situation has arisen where we have to come before you, honorable members of the Senate, to ask you to do your noble thing of exercising oversight over the county government of Meru. I have time and again put it on record that the County Assembly of Meru and the people of Kenya have a lot of work that we have been able to appear before you severally, seeking and pleading for only one thing, that justice be justice of that particular person who is not able to access services, courtesy of bad governance. What justice are we looking for? We are looking for justice of that child we saw who was born on a karai, that child who cannot speak, that child whose fate is not even aware. How would you take that governor to be a responsible person? How would you take that person to be a person who is capable of enhancing good governance, delivery of services? How is it that she was not aware that that hospital is not functional? How is maternity wing? She takes no bother to confirm why the hospital was not functional as at then. Even having been made aware as at yesterday, she still says, I am not aware. Is that the governor who is capable by the misconduct and the misdeeds of the governor? Can the county government, can the county assembly of Meru County sit pretty and watch things go south? Isn't it their responsibility to exercise oversight of the operationalization of the oversight function? That is all what we are asking for. That is all what we are asking for. If we were in the UK setup, this house qualifies to be the House of Lords. It's a House of Lords because it's capable of determining where the truth is and where the lie is. Of the impeachment, that it is true the governor has transgressed and violated the Constitution. When she was put, she sent me. And how can it be that the governor can be allowed to get away with a forgery? Isn't it a criminal case in the first instance? Who claims that the signature was forged appeared before the Senate? Her evidence was put through test by lying. Is it Linda Kawera, is it Linda Kiome, or is it the governor? Can the governor be trusted? She simply said it was seated somewhere in Meru. Unfortunately, she mistook where the place of the trial, consistent with innocence. If she was innocent, if it was not forgery, why was it so difficult for her just to bring that one letter? Why could resources not be committed to make sure that as and when she was made aware that that is an issue, that a letter could not be procured 180 kilometers away from the place of her trial? What is she concealing? What is she hiding? Is she hiding scrutiny? Is that conduct again consistent with that particular ground? That the letter that was meant, that the advisory that was meant to rebut our evidence in respect to ground one is a document that is a forgery. In the case of Philomena Mwilu, the Deputy Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, it was held that evidence that is tainted with illegality, it cannot be admitted. The admissibility of that evidence is in question. And having read the case of Wambora in the Civil Appeal number 21 of 2014, the Court of Appeal suggests that this is a quasi-judicial process. And it being a quasi-judicial process, the rules of evidence plays a fundamental role in the manner in which the admissibility of document is concerned. I sought leave of this House to have the document. They wanted to conceal the offense of perjury. They could not withstand the embarrassment that a signature was lifted. It matters not whether the governor is an IT guru. It matters not whether she is techno-savvy. It matters that a document was brought before you that is as a result of a forgery. We seek that you find it in our favor, that that particular ground was not defended, it was not controverted, and that the ground suffices to meet the test laid down under Article 8181 as read together with Section 33 of the County Government Act. And then what is the threshold in terms of that particular charge? The threshold is that of, it lies between reasonable, that is what the case of Governor Wambora stated, that we are not supposed to prove, the burden of proof is not beyond reasonable doubt from the case that was quoted by Senator Kajwang, that this is not a criminal trial to seek the county assembly to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt to the extent of seeking the intervention of. Is it the person who has in war with all the leaders in the particular in the entire county? Is it the person who is not even in good terms with his senator? Whom should we believe? Should we not believe leader? What personal vendetta would leader be having? She is not vying for a seat of governor. It matters not that whether she was a running mate to the previous candidate or not, but it matters that an offense was committed. We urge you, honorable senators, to find that, that in revoking the appointment of CPA Virginia Kawera, Governor Kawera violated the Constitution. She violated Article 10 of the Constitution on the question of the rule of law. She violated Article 27 on the equality before the law and the equal benefits of the law, that Virginia was not subjected to equal protection and equal benefit of the law under Article 27. She equally violated Article 50, that she was not given a fair trial or a fair opportunity to defend her case. When put to task, she attempts to become a linguistic, to purport to differentiate between removal and revocation. When called to task to read the provisions of Section 58 and Section 59 of the County Government Act, honorable senators, she simply could not distinguish. At the end of the day, whether a revocation or a dismissal, it never followed the due process. The county assembly was never involved. Taking responsibility is not an act of cowardice, it's not an act of weakness, it's an act of saying, yes, I was wrong. It's an act of admitting when somebody is wrong. And that is what Article 10 speaks about, the question of accountability. And that is what Article 73, which Governor Kawera has violated, speaks about. Article 73, honorable senators, speaks about a person who holds the office of a governor or any other office in the Republic of Kenya, breathing confidence in that particular office. When Governor Kawera lies blatantly, openly to the whole world that she was able to procure an advisory opinion, who can believe her? Is she breathing confidence in that particular office? Should she not be held to account? Is she not bringing that office to disrepute? Honorable senators, we submit that that particular charge has been sufficiently proved. On the question of the appointment of the chairpersons, again we prove that we have been able to dispose of our burden of not proving this allegation beyond reasonable doubt, but on balance of probability that yes, Governor Kawera has crippled the operations of the Meru County by blatantly failing and ignoring and or neglecting to execute her functions as the chief executive of Meru County. That amounted to the violation of Section 4 of the Public Appointments Act, in that requires when the governor is bestowed with the responsibility of a duty to follow the provisions of the law, can she be acquitted? How many times is Governor Kawera going to commit transgressions and get away with it? How many times? When she gets away with the transgressions, where do we leave the people of Meru County? Do the people of Meru County equally deserve justice? Should there not be a balance between the people of Meru County? Where should the balance lie? How should the balance swing? In whose favor is the balance swinging? I suggest and propose and submit that the balance swings in favor of the people of Meru County. They deserve justice before this house. They are crying out for justice. They are looking upon you to dispense with justice. And there cannot be justice by sending Governor Kawera back to Meru. The only justice that can be served, I suggest, is telling her you have failed in your duties, you've neglected in your duties, you've violated the Constitution, you do not know what the Constitution dictates. Remember, she swore to defend this Constitution, but she is one of the greatest transgressors of the same document that she's seeking solace and reprieve from. Honorable senators, Governor Kawera has come before you with dirty hands. She deserves no favor. She deserves no kindness. She deserves no kindness before this particular house, before this Senate. She has come to you with dirty hands. She is not even remorseful that there will be no any other reason for sending Governor Kawera home. Please remember the fate of that particular child. Remember the fate of that particular mother who got embarrassed on that particular day. Remember the interpretation that was done, that men and women had to make sure that young children do not go near that naked woman to see her nakedness. How many embarrassments will this house be treated to? Isn't that something that we need all to take cognizance of? Was that video proving failure of service delivery? Who is responsible of delivering those services? Who else should we hold accountable? Should she even be allowed to hide behind the cultural card? She has said and submitted that it's the culture of the Meru. I believe honorable senators who are present before this honorable house, including the senator of Meru, is a family man. There must be a woman in that particular house. If the senator is a misogynist, how does he live with his wife in his house? How does he live with his daughters in his house? If it is true the people of Meru are masculine, how do they multiply and perpetuate the Meru generation? That is a blatant lie. She shouldn't be allowed to hide behind issues that are not founded either in law or in fact. She must be told, it's now time for you to go. She must be told, we have given you 2 opportunities, you have failed to reform. She must be told, the Senate has listened to you severally, but you have failed to conform. She does not understand submissions and evidence is that the county government, the county assembly is telling the story of the single story. Which other single story have we told the Senate other than the single story of the violations of the Constitution? Which other single story have we told this House other than the story of the suffering of the people of Meru County? That is a single story. We have no another story. It's a single story of the suffering of the people of Meru County. They are craving upon you, honorable senators, to save them. They are craving upon you to save them from all these blatant violations. On the question of refusal to implement the recommendations by the county assembly, you might want to ask yourself, why the failure? It was not a coincidence. It is by design, because it's the conduit between the governor, the chief of staff, and the county secretary. That web must be in existence for Governor Kawera to exist. That is why it was impossible for her to implement the report recommended by the county assembly. Those are her conduits. If you find any mismanagement, any embezzlement, any failure of good governance, look at that web. It must be maintained for Governor Kawera to continue transgressing. Why is it so difficult for her to implement that report? Why is it difficult for her to see that there was necessity for her to implement that report as recommended by an equal arm of her government? The answer is one. She needs that network for her to perpetuate illegalities that she's perpetuating currently in Meru County. When put to task whether the reports and why they were not implemented, she simply said they were not sent to me. Evidence was led that yes, they were submitted to her, they were received in her office, and she blatantly refused to act to it. Why? I think, and transparency, she does not understand the reason why there is a rule of law in this country. Count 2 on misconduct. Yes, she acknowledged that she acknowledged misleading the people. She acknowledged that there was not only one account and that would stick to the way of the truth. That is what is right. That is what is just. She willingly veered away from the path of truth. The evidence of the window, and may he rest in peace, was never tested. None of them cross-examined that lady. Her evidence of a witness who is putting up a case, and a serious case such as this one, it is not usual. They only knew that they have nothing to cross-examine that lady on, and that whatever she said is therefore truth. And as such, we submit that Article 10 again was proved which speaks to values of ability, the value of transparency. How can a person lead a county if she has a deficit of integrity, if she has a deficit of accountability, if she has a deficit of transparency, if she cannot respect the rule of law on the rule of law, if she does not respect that rule of law, is she then worth her salt? Look at Article 73 of the Constitution. It's paramount when seeking to establish whether or not this provision. It speaks about public trust must be exercised in a manner that is consistent and demonstrate respect for the people. Respect for the people. Does it bring honor to the nation and the dignity to the office of the governor? Does it promote confidence, public confidence in the integrity of that office? We submit that the conduct exhibited by the deputy, by the governor, 73, and that does not breathe confidence, it does not demonstrate respect for the people, it does not indicate integrity, it does not bring honor to that office. If she cannot honor that office, why should she hold it? If she cannot honor that office, why should he keep it? If she cannot honor that office and she has no dignity for it, why should she keep it? Honorable, and has been substantiated. On the question of paying Kiambi's Christas Manyara in the office of the county governor, she has admitted on oath that evidence has been led that he is one of those people who are accused for the murder of and the slaying of Sniper. Put to task why he continued to earn his full salary while still in custody for 6 months. She simply said, "It wasn't me." When will Governor Kawera learn to be reticent that money was spent unlawfully? She takes no cognizance of the provisions of Article 201 of the Constitution. Honorable Senators, Article 201 is paramount in the manner in which the resources of this nation are governed. Article 201 speaks about the principles of public finance, and it provides that there must be prudent use of public finances. Was this one a full salary? Why should actions not be taken for a person who perpetuates these violations? It speaks about openness and accountability, including financial integrity. Was that the best way of applying the meager resources? Honorable Senators, as I pen off, I urge you to fight it, that this act and conduct must be attributed to the governor. There is clear nexus that the governor knew, or that a person attached to her office is not in office for 6 months. How responsible is that governor if the governor cannot learn that a person who is attached to her office is not present? How can she be allowed to get away with this? This is a governor who is incapable of running the affairs of Meru County. We ask you, Honorable Senators, and we humbly submit that you pave way for her to have another person manage the affairs. This is not about being a woman. Accountability is not being a woman. Allegiance, to play allegiance to the Constitution. It's so easy to tell a lie, but so hard to maintain the same. Telling a lie is the easiest bit, but telling the truth and pretending that you are lying is so hard. Success and any other success requires that an individual must accept responsibility. Kawera Mwangaza must accept that the county is not functional. It is not functional courtesy of her misdeeds. Accepting that one has failed is not a sign of weakness. Accepting that one has failed is not a sign of weakness. It's rather a signal that is being directed towards that particular person to check her true north. As I sum up, accountability is when you accept responsibility for the consequences of your actions. Accountability is when you accept consequences for your actions. And the consequences for the actions, as proved by the County Assembly, demands that Governor Kawera must go. As I sum up, and I want to repeat what I earlier submitted, that for there to be proper running of the county government of Meru, Kawera Mwangaza must go. for there to be services, proper delivery of services in the county government of Meru. Kawera Mwangaza must go. For the women of Meru County to access maternity services, Kawera Mwangaza must go. For the babies of Meru to be saved from the embarrassment of being born in Akarai, Kawera Mwangaza must go. For proper running of the Meru County, Kawera Mwangaza must go. It's only proper for her to leave, to pack and go. She has demonstrated incompetence. She has demonstrated her inability and incapacity to deliver services to the people of Meru. We urge you, honorable senators, to find it in our favor and send Governor Kawera home. Let her not hide behind other leaders. Let her not say that political leaders have instigated this motion. She has not brought as a witness any person, including any affidavit swearing that the senator of Meru County is behind this impeachment. Let her not play the victimization card. Let her not hide behind victimization. Let her take responsibility for our actions. Na kila mtu atauchukua mzigo wake mwenyewe.
Council, this is a house with rules.
I submit.
Yeah. Council for Governor, the floor is yours.
May I proceed, Mr. Speaker, sir?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, sir, and thank you so much, distinguished senators. For the record, my name is Ongoya. I'll be making the governor's closing submissions. Distinguished senators, courtesy demands that I open this process and the opportunity given to the governor to be heard as we have been heard. The challenges associated with the time notwithstanding, we are satisfied that we have had a fair day in this honorable House. Distinguished senators, the governor invites this House to be guided by certain enduring principles that she will draw the attention of this House to. The famous philosopher Socrates, to all persons sitting in the position of judges, which you now do. 4 things belong to a judge: to listen courteously, to answer wisely, to consider soberly, and to decide impartially. There is a biblical injunction that also addresses itself to the attributes of judges. I think there's advice that was given by a man called Jethro to a man called Moses in the book of Exodus, when Jethro thought that Moses was spending significant amounts of time deciding cases. He advised him to appoint judges to help him decide disputes between the children of Israel. He gave the following attributes: able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness. The governor holds this Senate in the highest possible regard and attributes these attributes that have survived the age of time to this Senate. Allow me to deal with what I consider to be some side issues that have arisen in the course of this trial and in the course of the Assembly's final submissions. Distinguished senators, an issue emerged as to whether ISPAC member number 10955, Kirimi Ibrahim Mutwiri, is an active member of ISPAC in good standing. Fortunately for us, like many other professional bodies, the data of many of us professionals is now available in the public databases of the respective professional association. any senator who cares to search member number 10955 on the member search engine of icepack.com will get a chance to satisfy themselves. At member number 10955, each senator is at liberty to search on the website icepack.com/search-member to establish for themselves the standing of that member. I say that with great humility because it's important that we address ourselves to the substantive issues that have kept us here and that keep us here up to now. It is not for lack of other business, the governor believes, that distinguished senators are sitting in this house after 9 p.m. to resolve this dispute. The governor believes that the issue before this Senate is so significant that it should never turn on a matter of side issues. And once senators search member number 10955 in the icepack.com search engine and establish the active and good standing status of that senator, of that accountant, my apologies, they will then form their own opinion as to who is standing on the platform of truth and who is standing on the platform of lack of truth in the conduct of these proceedings. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'll beseech the timekeepers to remind me at intervals of perhaps 15 minutes because I like managing my time as I get along. It's just my processes, as I have said before, are processes governed by law and legal principles. It is now settled by no lesser authority than the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya that public participation is an important pillar of the impeachment process. It therefore means that if an impeachment process is undertaken on a foundation of lack of proper public participation, then that particular impeachment process cannot stand the test of scrutiny. I want to take these senators through the public participation report in volume number 5 of the County Assembly's documents so that these senators in themselves can ascertain whether that principle was satisfied. If the senators can access volume number 5, the largest possible volume of the County Assembly's documents, I'll beseech them to look at page number 35 of that document. Page number 35 of volume 5. It is the biggest volume in the County Assembly document. And if you look at page number 35, there is a photograph on that page which is supposed to be a photograph of the members of the public attending a public participation function at Abogeta West Ward. I then, distinguished senators who have seen that photo, beseech them to look at page number 30 of the same volume. Page number 30 of that volume. Now the public participation event at Abogeta East Ward. On the face of it, the same people in the same sitting arrangement, taking the same posture at page number 30 at Abogeta East Ward are the same people in the same sitting arrangement taking that says of the integrity of this public participation process. But that's not enough. I'll beseech distinguished senators to turn to page number 331 of that same document. 331 of that same document. May I urge that we start at page 330 for proper context. At page 330 is a title of minutes showing that this should be a public participation event at Akirangondu Ward. I'll beseech distinguished senators look at minute number 3, which runs from page number 331. And I want you to look at the entire of that minute from where it starts all the way overleaf to page 332. To make my point, I would ask the senators, while keeping their finger on that minute, to turn to page number 373 of the same bundle. While keeping a finger on this page 331, to turn to page 373 of that bundle, they will see that these are supposed to be minutes of a public participation function in Mbeu Ward at a place called Kimiri MCK. These are supposed to be events done on the same day at the same time. You realize that minute number 3 of those minutes starts at page 374. This minute takers somehow meticulously used the same words word for word across 1.5 pages of minute taking of an objectively taken set of minutes. Distinguished senators, while at it, I want you to turn to page 390 of that same bundle. When you turn to page number 390, you'll come across a public participation event that apparently took place in Igembe East Ward at a place called Karaune MCK. And just for comparison, I will then urge you to turn to page number 393. 393, which is supposed to be a public participation event, difficulty, at the Rugine Ward at a place called Akune MCK. Putting your finger on those 2 minutes, I want you to look at minute number 3 of each of those 2 minutes. The one at page 390 starts from page 390 through page 391 all the way to page 392. And the one starting at page 393, minute 3 starts at page 393. Through discover, those minutes use the same words in the same order, the same sentences in the same order, word for word, across 3 pages of minutes that I have just prescribed for this sentence. Courteously, you answer wisely, you consider soberly, and you decide impartially, distinguished senators. Would you say that this is a public participation process that passed the requisite test of integrity? I just want to demonstrate one thing which can be done without taking too much time, which is page 332 of that document. At page 332 of that document, which is part of the minutes of a public participation event taking place at in Akirangondu Ward at Machungulu Social Hall, at minute number 4. At minute number 4, you'll come. Sorry, my apologies. I want us to go to page, my apologies. I misled you when I referred to 332. There's a lot of time. Let me look at 373. If it doesn't, I'll just go to the next minute, then we clear that in a short while. Yes. Thank you so much. That is the one. I wanted to look at page 332, minute number 4 at Akirangondu Ward. The minute taker says as follows: members of the public, upon equal and fair representation from across the locations in the ward, ended the meeting at 1 p.m. Full stop. A member of staff from the county assembly gave closing remarks and thanked the members of the public for exercising their constitutional mandate and conducting their exercise peacefully and inclusively. When you go to page number 375, which are minutes of a completely different ward, you also see minute number 4 in Mbeu ward, where members of the public, upon equal and fair representation from across the locations in the ward, ended the meeting at 1 p.m. A member of staff from the county assembly gave the closing remarks and thanked members of the public for exercising their constitutional mandate and conducting the exercise peacefully and inclusively. The same minute, the same words in the same order. I spoke here about some things being too fantastic to be true. Distinguished senators, these are the sort of things I was referring to. Normal human fallibilities militates against this kind of coincidences. I'll briefly make that point by looking at page 392. At page 392, page 392, after Roman 11 up there, there is an entry, a lady who spoke and was not in support of the impeachment motion said that since the governor was a woman, the MCS were planning to impeach out and needs to give her time to say that she doesn't support the impeachment motion because the governor is the only senior most politician from Meru County. I want us to turn to page 395, which is part of the minutes from Adiru Rujine ward. Just after Roman number 11, a lady who spoke and was not in support of the impeachment motion said that since the governor was a woman, the MCS were planning to impeach her out and needs to give her time to work and complete her term. It follows, another one said that she doesn't support the impeachment motion because residents of Meru County are tired with these unending fights between the governor and the MCS. Distinguished senators, I leave it to your able judgment as able men, such as fear God, of truth, hating covetousness, using this standard of Jethro, as he advises Moses, to determine for yourself the quality of public participation that underwrites this motion. We are looking at a document that is 1,344 pages. Time cannot allow us to continue with this kind of analysis, but the point has been made. I want to deal with the various allegations that have been made against the governor in this impeachment motion. If you look at the impeachment motion at count number 1, the governor is accused of gross violation of the Constitution and other laws, and a general allegation of violations of laws is made there. The burden for us is to establish whether the ground in support of that allegation has been made. I will deal with the other grounds as I carry on with these submissions. The governor is accused of dismissing Dr. Ntoiti, Paul Mwaki, Kenneth Kimathi Mbae, and Joseph Kithure in usurpation of the powers of appointing authorities. The mover of the motion was taken through this ground as against what was count 4, paragraph 16 of the motion that was before this House in November last year, my apologies, in November last year. She confirmed that there has been no new action on the part of the county government in respect of these officials. She confirmed that what she was complaining about here is the same action that informed the previous allegation in the previous impeachment motion. While at it, and so that I don't revisit this question, I'll also deal with count number 3, paragraph 3 of the present motion, where the governor is accused of employing a bloated workforce of at least 111 personal staff in her office. The mover of this motion came here and she conceded that this was the same allegation in count number 4, paragraph G of the motion that this Senate dealt with in November last year. The question I want this Senate to grapple with is this, and this is a question of principle. Is it permissible for this Senate to be called upon to re-debate the same in law? Is it permissible in good sense to re-debate and make a decision on it? Are these grounds you are going to vote for, or are these grounds in your private discussion and deliberation are going to move that must be struck out first before you consider the residue of the motion? That's something that I invite this Senate to grapple with so that it guides future processes of this nature. I'm making out an argument that the governor invites this Senate to take a position on allegations that have been debated here in previous impeachment motions and in respect of which the governor has been cleared of the same. May I draw the attention of this Senate to the fact that the move of this motion confirmed that in respect of the claim of employment of a bloated workforce, the same list of employees in the same order that was presented here in November last year is the same list of employees in the same order that she has presented here today, and sought that this Senate reviews its previous decision and enters a different decision from the one it entered last year. The second set of matters that I want to deal with is matters that are pending active litigation in court as we stand here today. What I'll describe as matters that are sub judice. Count number 1, paragraph 1 of the impeachment motion alleges that the governor illegally revoked the appointment of CPA Virginia Kawera Miriti as CEO of the Meru County Public Service Board. Distinguished senators, it is not in dispute that this matter is pending active litigation as Meru Employment and Labor Relations Court, case number E002 of 2024, Virginia Kawera Miriti versus the governor, Meru County. The governor invites this court to consider as a matter of principle what is its policy on matters sub judice. What is the policy of this Senate on matters that are pending active litigation before other competent institutions of dispute resolution? Evidence of the pendency of that case has, of course, been supplied in volume number 2 of the governor's documents at page number 14. Another matter that the governor wants you to apply the same mind on, that is matters that are actively pending in court, is what I referred to earlier as count number 1, paragraph 4, on the alleged illegal dismissal of Dr. Ntoiti, Paul Mwaki, Kenneth Mbae, Joseph Kithure Mberia. In addition to the fact that this is a matter that this Senate has already applied its own mind upon and made a decision on, continues to be in active litigation in our court. This matter went into court as Meru Employment and Labor Relations Petition number 1 of the pendency of that appeal process is at at page number 71, volume 1B. I invite this House to take this as a question of principle. What is the policy, the legal policy, number 1, paragraph. If you look at ground number 2, paragraph 6, motion, just for good order, is in the County Assembly's documents, volume 1. This is the matter relating to the alleged, or the case of murder of one Daniel Mudhiani, alias Sniper, and contributions towards his family, and the role, connection, or status of Kiambe Crispius Manyara, an accused person in that murder. The County Assembly, at volume number 2, this House, with the charge sheet for that murder case. Distinguished senators, I beseech you to again make a principled decision in a matter such as in our murder court, our high court. What is the policy of this Senate towards matters such as those? I submit that this is a matter of principle because this should be able to guide future impeachments so that we don't have to revisit these questions of principle. Finally, the impeachment process itself in its entirety, I wish to refer you to volume 8 to 32. At page 28, you can see Meru Constitutional Petition number E013 of 2024. The two parties now appearing before you and represented by counsel, as has been the case. If we turn to page number 31 of the governor's volume number 2, the above is that the impeachment process is halted pending my ruling, and this, since this matter is of public interest, the ruling on the interested parties and the main petition will be delivered on 29th, not delivered on that day, and is still pending delivery, and this order remains in force. As a matter of principle, I invite senators to reflect on this question, because the governor has been brought here by the County Assembly claiming that it wants to strike a blow for the rule of law. And yet we are here debating this matter in the face of an order reading, and I quote, the upshot of the English senators. What position do you want to take on this matter? You are the judges. You will make the decision one way or the other. I have done my part as legal representative to my clients. I have made full and candid disclosure that we may be perpetuating a violation to your able hands, distinguished senators. Is this the way we shall grow our institutions if a court of competent jurisdiction can make an order such as this? The County Assembly proceeds in violation of this order, and at page 35 onwards, you will see a contempt of court application that she has filed. She has done her good conscience, and our attention having been drawn to these facts, perpetuate this process, which on the face of it, the county governor is not for her council to make that decision. Distinguished senators, the heavier task lies with you, touching on those specific paragraphs of those specific counts that I have alluded to, and on this impeachment process as a whole, as I have drawn your attention to page 30 of volume number 2 of the governor's documents. Let me proceed by addressing you briefly on the Public Audit Act. Distinguished senators, I beseech you, as you make this section 53 and section 54 of the Public Audit Act. I say this in summary in response to the multiple audit questions that have arisen in the course of this hearing. Time will not permit me to point at specific audit queries. Having been present here, we know those audit questions. Section 53 of the Public Audit Act has a side note entitled Implementation of Reports. These are audit reports by an accounting officer. Subsection 1 of Section 53 of the Public Audit Act provides, and I quote, the government has considered an audit report. 2, there is parliamentary consideration of the audit report. Then 3, there are argument on the report of the parliament on why the report has not been acted upon. The law itself actually anticipates principle in law called the subsidiarity principle. Institution competent to resolve it. So, for example, as a litigation lawyer, if I have a case that can competently be handled at a lower court, a magistrate's court, I am obligated to file that case in the magistrate's court, which is the lowest court competent to hear that dispute, has not exercised its mandate by seizing these reports and making necessary recommendations or steps to be taken to implement the report. Instead, it has picked the reports and come to this house with those reports. I want to believe, speaking for myself, that that is overburdening this very busy house. I want to suggest to you, senators, that if you set a precedent here in these proceedings, that a county assembly can do that, it means that if we get a year where there are 47 counties every, I suspect that that may break the functional machinery of this house. I think that you better take a position in this matter that reminds county assemblies that they also have a role to discharge, to sit, invite and resolve there first, then come here with only such residues of issues that the relevant officers have proved to be incorrigible. That is my humble submission, distinguished senators. There is a cadre of claims before you, a problem. Then it has brought the governor here. The alleged failure to appoint the chairpersons of the Meru County Revenue Board, Meru Microfinance Corporation, Meru Youth Service Board, and Meru County Investment and Development. Pages 53, 61, 62, 65, 67, 84, and the document at pages 8 at page 135 of volume 1B of the governor and the office of the clerk of the county assembly. There is no doubt, distinguished senators, that the governor nominated persons to these offices. If the governor did not furnish sufficient particulars, the county assembly had the option of rejecting those names. Just consider them and reject them, so that there is no jam in the system, so to speak. What has happened here is that for more than 1 year, the county assembly has engaged the governor's office in correspondence, but failed to make a decision on the chairpersons of these boards. And yet there is nothing the governor can do without the county assembly first making a decision one way or the other. The law, for example, distinguished senators, requires that ambassadors in this country, cabinet secretaries, be appointed by the president, but upon approval by the National Assembly. If the president were to forward names of cabinet secretaries to the National Assembly, then the National Assembly takes 1 year engaging the president in correspondence on those names without making a decision on them. Then eventually moves a motion to impeach in the extreme. I have reflected on the various categories of malice. I submit respectfully, this will fall into the category of malice of the highest order. This is a teaching aid in malice. It is inconceivable that there can be a higher grade of malice than this. You have been told that the governor has failed to implement the recommendations / resolutions of the county assembly. You are taken through the letter by the clerk claiming to be forwarding a resolution. The Hansard is also enclosed. We have asked for that Hansard. We have asked for that resolution. Distinguished senators, it has not been presented to you. On the strength of such an allegation. But more importantly for me, questions were put here to an assembly of the committee of the assembly is not the governor. Who various officers who allegedly the petitioners had sought to be removed from office, one by one. That report was neither addressed to nor copied to the governor. But now you are told to make a finding that the governor failed to implement that report that was neither addressed to her nor copied to her, has established this fact. I repeat, it is not in my place to make that determination. It is in your place, distinguished senators, to make that determination. That in good conscience, a governor who is neither the addressee of a letter nor copied in the letter can be removed from office on an allegation of failure to implement the contents of that letter. Factual matters on the dismissal, in addition to the principal matters of pendency of court cases in them. Factual matters have arisen. CAC in charge of public service has been here and has adduced evidence that these people, some of them, their contracts ran out by a fool. The governor never dismissed these people. Good people, distinguished senators, what would have been easier than for the county assembly to present us with at least a sample dismissals before you contain very many documents except anything in the name of a dismissal letter, even to prove that fact of an allegation. I want you in good conscience to reflect on whether you can dismiss a governor for alleged dismissal of an employee without the dismissal letter before you, without an affidavit of that employee before you claiming to have. Correct. An allegation has been made that this governor deliberately and knowingly misled the public that 86 million shillings had been raised through 001639. Opportunity to review that video, distinguished senators, and you are aware that other videos have been played to show just the amount of mud that was thrown at the senator, so at the governor, not by the family of the deceased, not by other leaders from Meru County. You listen to that clip and you have no doubt in your mind the governor is addressing those leaders who are throwing mud at her. I think that when I finally document the story of this governor, as I hope one day I'll get to do, she responds. Because every time she responds for impeachment, all of us heard some of the governor, and to remain a fellow citizen, not to respond, have an instinct of pride that is natural, normal human instinct. There's nothing inherently wrong in those human values. It's just the way God made us as human beings. And when the governor responds to those leaders, clearly saying those leaders must then support the deceased wife, build a house for her, buy her a car, start a foundation to support her children, take to this widow, and who is calling for her to be assisted rather than being taken advantage of for political ends or possibly for business ends. I would want this particular charge to be understood in that context, distinguished senators. Ground number 3, at paragraph 8, an allegation is made of an alleged use of manual payroll. First, I think sufficient evidence has been laid here that this was an issue in the audit report. The county assembly is yet from the county executive. Evidence has been laid to you that this governor inherited a government where manual payrolls were a systemic problem. In fact, she has finished that problem before this impeachment motion was filed. That is something I beseech you to keep at the back of your mind as you make a decision one way or the other on the audit reports in respect of an excess of more than 40 counties. What lesson do we learn from that? This may be a systemic government problem beyond Meru County. And therefore, the proper interventions by legislative and oversight institutions such as this is to provide systemic solutions. What can we do to ensure that IPPD numbers of staff are processed much faster to conduce an environment where payrolls are run without the necessity to resort to manual payrolls? Teachers without salary for 8 months pending processing of IPPD numbers by another government institution, that may as well be an unfair labor practice, which will also violate the Constitution. I have addressed the question of employing a bloated workforce. As a matter of fact, the governor has not employed a bloated workforce. As a matter of fact, this matter has been dealt before in a previous impeachment motion. Other staff being sent to her office. I beseech you to keep that fact at the back of your mind as you make this decision. Finally, on the allegation of paying Kiambi Crispus Manyara, a public communications officer in the office of governor, full salary while in remand, distinguished senators, I want you in good conscience to make a decision whether governors pay staff. Just in the government organogram, whether a governor pays staff. The appointment letter of this particular staff shows that this is actually a staff of the county public service board. That's the appointing authority, that's the disciplining authority. So that where a staff who is charged in court is supposed to be either suspended or interdicted and relevant communication made to the payroll team, that would be the function of the county public service board, which is an independent board established as such under the County Government Act. To blame the governor for the failure or omission of an independent board, which if the governor sought to interfere with, that may as well be a ground of impeaching her, that will be putting this governor in a grave dilemma. We beseech you not to put this governor or any other governor in such a position of dilemma. The Supreme Court of Kenya, in the case of Sonko versus the County Assembly of Nairobi, set a principle, and I quote, "Though a political process, impeachment is sanctioned by the Constitution and the law, and it is not a platform to settle political scores. It is well within the rights of the governor to adduce evidence before you to show what political machinations are there, so that you can contextualize her allegations that these are processes to settle political scores." Make no mistake, distinguished senators, the governor has set out here. She is a leader like any other leader. She is subject to oversight like any other leader. She is subject to sanction like any other leader. But a side issue has been raised here, that this governor is waving a gender card. When the governor was brought here in September last year, she played video clips here for you to see with your own senses, for you to hear with your own senses, for you to feel with your own senses. The decision was yours, and the answer of this House shows that even this Senate was abhorred by the misogyny that was displayed in those videos. The governor is not creating a narrative of misogyny. The governor presented evidence of misogyny before this House. A narrative has been created here that this governor has been given 2 opportunities before. An impression being created that this governor was perhaps convicted and pardoned. Truth is, this governor has been acquitted on every other occasion that she has been brought here. And therefore, you can't blame her for whatever decision this Senate made based on the evidence that has been brought before the Senate. The case of Martin Nyaga Wambora before the Court of Appeal of Kenya set out the principle that allegations for removal of a governor must be serious, substantial, and weighty. Let's face it. If we want to look for technical infractions of law, that is easy. We can get a technical infraction of law on any officer in any office, on any citizen, wherever situated. The principle as enunciated by our court is that to remove a governor from office, the allegation must be serious, substantial, and weighty. And it's in this context that I understood the clarification sought. 5 minutes, thank you. The clarification as sought by Honorable Senator Kajwang as to whether labor disputes, employment disputes would form a basis of an impeachment motion. This institution of parliament has employees. I leave it to your own assessment as whether there are any employees that have ever taken this institution to court. What is sure is that there's an entire court called the Employment and Labor Relations Court, whose business is to resolve labor disputes every day. We don't create institutions for fun. That institution was created because there was an understanding that in our day-to-day lives, people are going to have labor disputes. And therefore, to use a labor dispute that is properly before a court of competent jurisdiction to remove a governor from office, that in and of itself does not pass the test of seriousness, substantiality, and weight. The Court of Appeal also established as a principle that a nexus must be drawn between the governor and the alleged gross violations of the Constitution or any law. So that where the County Public Service Board, for example, fails to interdict or suspend an employee who is charged in a court of law, it strains my imagination how anyone within the most fertile imagination on earth can create a nexus between that and the governor. I leave it to the distinguished House here to make a decision on that question. In conclusion, distinguished senators, I have been reflecting on the life and the times of Honorable Kawera Mwangaza. In my other world, Mr. Speaker, I am a teacher, and I talk to my law students every day in a mentorship program, and I was telling them that in the fullness of time, when I am tasked to make my intellectual contributions on gender and the law, my writing will not be on the 2/3 gender principle. My writing will be on the struggle to sustain a woman governor in Meru County. It is difficult for me to imagine of any public official in this country who has been and say either my elder sister or my mother. I can't imagine of a lesson in resilience than that is embodied in this woman who sits here before you as governor. I beseech you to have the weight of this submission in your conscience as you grapple with the principal issues, the evidentiary issues, and the factual issues that I have raised this evening. I beseech you to acquit this governor on each of the 3 counts. I rest the governor's final submissions.
Thank you, Counsel. Now, honorable senators, ladies and gentlemen, we will now, pursuant to Rules 27 of the Rules of Procedure as contained in the 3rd schedule of our standing orders, we will proceed to a camera session. And therefore, at this juncture, I'll ask the parties to withdraw from the chamber, the members of the public to withdraw from the chamber, and the media to cease live broadcast forthwith.
Tumekubaliana. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. Mr. Witness, you have confirmed that this gentleman is the Secretary General of Bas Party at the county level.
In fact, he stated the same himself in that clip.
And where was this event? What was taking place and who were in attendance, if you are aware?
It was held at Kinoru Stadium in Meru during requirements for the late sniper. Members of the county assembly were present. Other leaders from also the National Assembly were present, and members of the public.
There was an inconsistency between the interpretation, the verbal, and the whatever we saw written on the screen, particularly within that clip that relates to bribe of the Senate. The interpreter did not mention bribe, but the transcript on the screen mentioned bribe. Could that be made clear, Mr. Speaker?
Can you play that clip again? And Mr. Interpreter,
Mr. Speaker, sir.
give us the true translation.
All right, thank you.
You can play to the very end. The very end, I think the last few seconds.
I'm very excited now that Maua is not paying cess or tax to the government. And they are not going to pay anymore. Even those metals should be sold like scrap metals. Those metals over there should be sold like scrap metals. And we are going to announce that there is nowhere that tax will be collected. To give out our money to go and bribe a Senate. Thank you. We can pause there. I think for the sake of Honorable Kajwang, that is now clear. Mr. Witness,
Is it now clear, Senator, for Homa Bay? You got it clearly?
Instance, the translator used the word to corrupt the Senate. In the second instance, he's used the word to bribe the Senate. Perhaps I leave it to the senators to confirm whether those are synonyms.
You know, English and Meru sometimes can vary drastically.
Indeed, I can confirm that, my lord.
Proceed.
So, the gentleman is talking about selling some metals as scrap. What metals is he referring to?
It is the cess stand which is used.
And number two, to even destroy public property.
That is true.
That's true. And why is he telling them to do that?
He is alluding to the fact that the revenue collected by the county government of Meru is used to bribe the Senate during impeachment processes.
Thank you. Can we now watch VKM 18? From the beginning.
Sniper jole yale tutatembea na hii familia kwa vyovyote vile Mungu akitujalia.
The body of Sniper is over there.
Viongozi tukishikana na hawa hakuna kitu tutashindwa, tutasaidia hii familia. So familia Sniper, personally mimi mwenyewe nitafanya maneno mimi mwenyewe na pia wabunge tutasaidiana tuone hii familia imekaa vizuri.
Na inaonekana mauaji yalifanyika na gavana wa Meru. Tunaomba gavana wa Meru leo na bwana wake wakamata leo. Mnakubaliana na mimi? Wasipomkamata leo, sisi wa Meru tutawasha moto Meru.
Si basi tutoe sandaka tuweke hapo kwa Sniper. 247 then account number 07 nderwa kiroi na cash
for the one who has cash.
Na cash ya
those who got that cash should bring here
Bishop Rungama
to the bishop here. Bishop, can you stand?
Vote of thanks.
Get a place you can receive that cash. We go dropping that cash over there.
We can stop there for now. Mr. Witness, where was this event and who are the people that we have just watched in that video so far?
That was also another requirement held at Kinoru Stadium. Requirements for the late Sniper, and the speakers who have already been shown in that clip. We have Honorable Rendekiri, member of Parliament for Bori. We have also seen another public member from Egembe. We have also seen the Speaker of the County Assembly of Meru.
What role was the Speaker playing in this event?
He is passing the mic to Wana Alaji or Monde Muguna. Therefore, I deem he was the MC of that event.
We have seen about Sadaka for a pay bill and some other forms. Kindly explain what you were able to understand.
It was money being raised for the late Sniper's family. And the Speaker is stating that money can be raised to the pay bill number provided, and he also states that whoever has cash can hand it over to the bishop.
Was giving a bishop that task of collecting cash, was there any cash?
Of course, because it was in a public meeting, there ought to have been cash that was raised in that meeting.
Thank you. We have also had utterances by one person directed to the governor. Who is that individual?
I think.
Lead fire within Meru.
Oh yes, he's a political activist in Meru County.
Thank you. Let us proceed and watch the remaining part of the video.
Nderwa kiroi na cash na chwaga ntwa ko yukia cash wa roaje pa thanks tute toke kara cash wa.
The house of shame, that house of greed called the Senate, a house of shame, a house of greed, aingeturundishia ugonjwa huu Meru, atunge kuwa hapa. Therefore, I am sounding people like Kimbone Garware na wale wengine, tumbo zenu zikaongoza nyinyi mpaka ugonjwa ulio Meru, mukafanya ugonjwa huo ukakita. Shame on you, house of shame. Shame on you, house of greed. And we are ashamed that institution in Kenya, which is supposed to safeguard the interests of the people of Kenya, succumbed to a few coins, a few cents. Shetani ashindwe. Hii ugonjwa atunge kuwa nao wakati huu. Kumbukeni, Mbone Arware, I want to remind you, ulisimama mbunge la Senate, ukaita watu wa Meru wenda wazimu. Siku ya leo nataka kutadharisha, wa Meru wamekuonyesha, sio wa Meru wenda wazimu ni nyinyi. Mjumba la haibu, mjumba la kulimia tumba zao, ni nyinyi wenda wazimu, sio sisi. Na ine.
Thank you. I do not know whether you want to make any comments in respect to that video, but I felt that it is self-explanatory.
I do not wish to comment because it is regrettable and the ones are self-explanatory.
Now, Mr. Kawera, kindly, in very few minutes, talk about the governor's efforts. Thank you for the indication of time. Tell us any efforts that you are aware of that the governor of Meru made to reconcile with leaders, if any, and what role you played. Because the assumption has been that the governor is a lone ranger who does not work with any member of the county assembly and other political leaders within Meru.
In fact, immediately after the second impeachment failed in the Senate, the governor of Meru went back to Meru and made a clarion call that let all leaders come together and unite. She made a call for reconciliation and also asked for forgiveness if she had wronged any leader in Meru. And thereafter, the governor of Meru went ahead and stopped Okolea programs, which had aggrieved members of the county assembly. Thereafter, the governor trying to reach out to me, myself as the leader of the majority party at that time, and I hidden to the call where I went and listened to her carefully, and she told me the plans that she had, that she was inviting all the members of the county assembly to come and work together with her. And at that moment, I asked her to give me time as the leader of the majority party to go and try to reach out to other members so that maybe she can organize a meeting with them and try to forge or try to bring reconciliation. After I left, I went and reached out to the members of the county assembly, and they all declined, especially the leadership of the county assembly, declined to attend a meeting with the governor And once I communicated that message back to the governor, she asked me if she can make our efforts about reaching out public and state that we had met, and I agreed because I was convinced about her genuineness that time. And she went ahead and made that remark that the majority leader of the government of the County Assembly of Meru, and agreed to reconcile and work with her. Immediately thereafter, a meeting was convened by the majority whip of the County Assembly of Meru together with the Speaker for the 59 members who were in support of the impeachment process, where during that meeting myself, I was tasked to explain if I was still for the cause of removing the governor from office because of the statement that the governor had made. And if so, I should apologize to the members because I intended to maybe bring disunity or disarray their cause. At that point, myself, I stood up and told them that it was the time. A time had come that every member of the County Assembly should be given freedom to exercise their democratic right of either to support Governor Kawera Mwangaza or to oppose her. What followed immediately, I walked out of that meeting because I declined to apologize or tell them if I was for that cause. Immediately after that, a press conference was issued, led by the majority whip, where they declared because of some they have to do some alignments in the leadership positions of the assembly, so that the business of the assembly cannot be disrupted by maybe leaders who abandoned that cause. At that point, Honorable Speaker, because that was a press conference that was covered nationally, the then Secretary General of the UDA party nationally, one Honorable Cleophas Malala, wrote a letter to myself and to the whip indicating that there should be no leadership changes in the positions of the majority party, and invited us for a meeting that we attended in Nairobi. And during that meeting, the majority of members saying that the problem of Meru County was the majority leader, and it is at that point that I was removed as the majority leader of the majority party in the assembly. And also other changes were made where the deputy majority whip was also removed because we were all in support of the governor of Meru County.
Thank you. Have you adduced any evidence to support that you involved your party leadership at the national level and that they gave a clear directions which were ignored?
Yes, I have adduced evidence.
Honorable Senators, I want to refer you to pages 470 of volume that is 1B of the governor's case, all the way to page 473. Indeed, they run all the way to page 490. Page 470 to page 491. But we can go all the way to page 500, indicating the complaints by the members of County Assembly who are in support of the governor and who are being victimized for their move. For the sake of time, I would just leave the senators to refer to those documents. Mr. Kawera, what transpired after your removal from the County Assembly? Who took over your position?
My position was taken by the member who was formerly my deputy, and that of the deputy was taken by the mover of the current motion, Honorable Zipora. And immediately after the changes were made and communicated in the Assembly, the leadership of the County Assembly of Meru went further ahead, and removed all the 13 members who were in support of the governor then. You remember during the second impeachment motion, the governor had only 10 members. And when I was tasked to state if I was still for the cause and I walked out, other 2 members followed me, so we became 13. The 13 of us were de-whipped from 3 key select committees. That is the Committee on Budget and Appropriations, County Assembly Committee on Public Accounts, and Committee on Implementation. And then after, every person of the 13 who held a leadership position in any of committees of the Assembly were removed from those positions through a vote of no confidence. Therefore, members lost chairmanship of committees, they lost vice chairmanship of committees, and also those who served in the Speaker's panel initially were also removed, and the Speaker's panel was expanded to 18 members, 8 members, so that it can incorporate the members who, out of the 56, who are not earning any responsibility allowance in that assembly.
I want you to clarify on that issue of expanding the Speaker's panel. What was the initial number of members of the Speaker's panel?
The initial number that the Assembly had approved was 11 members, but in our standing orders, the members of the Speaker's panel should be 5, that is the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, and 3 other members, but it was still expanded to 18 members, so that it can take care of members who are not earning any responsibility allowance and they were in opposition to the governor.
And when you talk about Speaker's panel, what kind of allowances, if any, do they draw?
Of course, when you serve in the Speaker's panel, you draw some responsibility allowance, and also you benefit from trainings, capacity building, skills improvement, and what have you.
And you said the maximum number of members allowed as per the standing orders are 4.
Yes.
How much money are we losing as taxpayers for the expanded Speaker's panel, in your estimation?
In my estimation, every member who serves in the Speaker's panel draws around 26 or 27,000 every month as responsibility allowance. They also have special meetings that they draw allowances. And also, of course, they do benefit from DSAs and